Monigo in Treviso for this United Rugby Championship round 4 encounter between Benetton and Hollywood Bench Sharks. Benetton, 6 changes and a positional switch in the side that started in the defeat to Leinster in round 3. Enzo Avaca lines up at tight head prop. Federico Ruzza starts at lock. Alessandro Izekor is in at 6. Captain Michele Lamaro shifts to 7, and Lorenzo Cannone starts at 8. In the back line, Ignacio Brex makes a first appearance this season at centre, while fullback Rhyno Smith returns after missing the last 2 rounds. There is a 6-2 split on the bench where promising prop Marcos Gallorini is in line for his Benetton debut, and co-captain Eli Snyman returns from injury for the home side. For the Sharks, John Plumtree has made 3 changes to his starting 15 from round 3's narrow victory over the Dragons. Trevor Nyakane starts at loose head prop in place of Niccolò Cannone, while Fez Mbatha comes in at hooker with Dylan Richardson on the bench. Loose forward Fez Mbatha starts at 8 ahead of Manu Chituka, is set to make an impact off the bench, which has a 5-3 forward split. The back line remains unchanged, featuring both Henrik's siblings, Jaden at scrum half, Jordan at fullback. There is one change though to the squad on the bench. That's with Bradley Davids in as a replacement scrum half. There is Vincent Chituka, captain of the visiting Sharks, but as part of the BKT United Rugby Championship Take on Tomorrow programme and the wider ambition to promote inclusion in sport, the URC are celebrating Unity Round this weekend. It's for the 3rd season in succession. Also supporting the Stonewall Rainbow Laces campaign and a commitment to ensuring games are viewed as a welcome space for everyone to enjoy. Involved with the teams has been given access to rainbow coloured boots. The players can wear rainbow tape as well. A smattering of South African supporters, indeed some Shark supporters as well, in between those who are supporting the home side Benetton Rugby. This is set to be a classic encounter. Bear in mind the Sharks lead the head-to-head between these two teams. They won 2 of the previous 3 meetings, but Benetton did win their last encounter 25-24 in Durban earlier this year as part of last season's campaign. The Sharks are not unfamiliar to playing Lions. Usually, though, those Lions are from Johannesburg. These are the Lione from Treviso, and they have come to claim victory. They are winless, however, and bottom of the standings. Not uncommon to see an Italian side bottom of the standings. Zebra, though, are the side that have finished bottom of the log for the last 3 seasons. The home team seeking a first victory of their campaign. Match officials today led by Sam Grove-White, the 32-year-old from Aberdeen in Scotland. He officiated at the World Rugby Under-20 Championships in June and July this year. Not unfamiliar with some of the players on both sides as well. The likes of Gallorini, who I mentioned, set to make his Benetton debut, is on the bench. Weather conditions, there's been some light rain about this week, none expected today. Partly cloudy conditions, a light wind, and temperatures having reached 19 degrees Celsius today. Jacob Umaga, with the ball in hand, prepares to get this match underway. And who's celebrated for personal reasons in recent times, having welcomed his son Marley into the world just weeks ago, is hoping to celebrate victory once again against the Sharks. It was he who scored the winning try and slotted the successful conversion to claim victory in their last meeting. Benetton Rugby in the green and white hoops against the visiting Hollywood Bench Sharks in the black and white, up against one another here in Treviso. As Jaden Henriksen prepares to get the ball in toward the bigger men who are lining up to take it forward. This time it's Fez Mbatha for the first carry of the game. But delighted to say alongside me is former Leinster, Zebra and Benetton fly-half who represented Italy internationally, and Ian McKinley. And Ian, initial thoughts on this game as we see advantage here to the Sharks for a little knock-on from Odogwu.
Yeah, definitely 2 teams that are under pressure. Consistency is probably the biggest thing. Sharks with an early opportunity here out in the wider channels.
Work down the flanks for the Sharks. They have got 2 very experienced, or 2 relatively inexperienced wingers, I should say. This is great movement from the Sharks in the early stages, out towards Edwin Keita, takes it up towards the halfway line where he's held on to by Menoncello. He and Ignacio Brex back together as a partnership. Some call them Brex and Cello, such as their relationship, as hooker puts boot to ball. Collected by South African Rhyno Smith, who moves it forward. No flat ball. It's collected by Jordan Henriksen. He's become so accustomed to slotting long-range penalty kicks in the dying moments of rugby matches.
We've got an early indication straight away of how the Sharks are wanting to play, not afraid to put width on the ball and making use of the good weather conditions that are presenting themselves in Treviso.
again. A little tester for Benetton Rugby. It's been spilled forward. Turning tackle from Enzo Avaca. Umaga takes it into the tackle. Found himself in the spot above it. Garbisi looking to break their way through the Sharks' defensive line. It's certainly not an easy back line to break through, especially when they've got the bigger men around the fringes. The box kick again early on. It's a lovely take under pressure.
Please let it come. It was a contest. Sharks ball. Sharks ball. So, listen to me.
I think the right decision by Grove White there. I think
two players came
Ignacio
down the ball.
Mendy there.
Sharks going forward, scrum Sharks.
Got under the ball. It's really 50-50 there, isn't it? And probably just the Sharks winning that little battle in the ruck, and it's given the scrum, but it's going to be even a bit tricky for us as well, Dwayne, whenever the ball goes up in the air. Like the jerseys seem pretty similar at times when you've got the sun there, so we're going to have our wits about us trying to get everyone right and correct. But
so scrum time. You've got to feel that this is an area where the Sharks would feel they can dominate Benetton.
Yeah, this is going to be a massive area.
Understand?
As you alluded to it at the top, you've got two young Benetton props, 20 years of age to come off and to come onto the pitch, but this is really an area the Sharks will look to dominate.
No one said left and left. I want heads into
interesting
slots, please.
Spectator in Sada, Italian national coach, and I'm sure he's going to be looking for big performances from players like Ignacio Brex and the national captain Michele Lamaro.
Crouch!
Fascinating battle, Lamaro and
Bind!
Chituka.
Out we come. We're going to get this right on the first go. Hold your weight, calls are slow.
This is an area where the Sharks will be expecting to dominate undoubtedly. Benetton Rugby sporting 6 changes and that positional switch for Lamaro. There's the bench. Lots of Uno, Richardson, Jakobs, Raul, Manu Chituka, brother of Captain Vincent, Michael Davids there as well, Lionel Cornier and Francois Finter sitting on the bench for the Sharks side. 3 changes, all those changes up front. Fez Mbatha and Trevor Nyakane in the front row making their way into the starting lineup, and Fletcher starting at 8.
Use it!
Changes from that late win over Dragons in Newport last Saturday. Trying to find space down the flank of the hooker. Somebody who's made some tremendous ground and clean breaks, 16 breaks in last weekend's game. Player in the URC era. It's really blocked. Good work by Ruzza. Benetton had ball in hand. Umaga looks to swing it towards the centre pairing of Brex and Menoncello. Taken into the tackle though. Garbisi skips one out towards Menoncello. The tournament at the Six Nations earlier this year. Who's got a phenomenal all-round game, but he's been guided so well by Ignacio Brex. To see him back.
Yeah, it's a very exciting centre partnership, much like the one of the Sharks. You see, this is Benetton's mantra under Bortolami. Don't look to play much ball in their own half.
What has been impressive though is how well they play their contestable kicks. I think under Bortolami. Certainly when you've got somebody like Ignacio Mendy who can chase, it's all the more impressive.
Use it.
And even in the opening 6 minutes, we've seen a lot of them already, haven't we?
Challenging for that, was hit from behind, but a little knock on initially, so it'll be Sharks' feed.
Yeah, Dwayne, you were talking there, you know, you've got Ignacio Mendy, Odogwu, you know, you're probably looking for your wingers, your fullback. You're going to tend to get under that high ball. You probably don't want your number 9 and Alessandro Garbisi there going up for it. And prime attacking opportunity here for the Sharks. And I think Benetton will take a bit of heart from that first scrum, you know, between Avaca, Maile and Spagnolo. They weren't budging on the first one.
This one here. So that one into there, this one into here.
Rhyno Smith, this was earlier in the match.
just sort of get the feeling both teams are still sort of feeling each other out and not wanting to give an inch, particularly in the more so Benetton in their own half. Sharks have looked to spread the ball a little bit.
Both these sides find themselves missing a host of players. Owing to, well, Scott Scrafton is suspended, serving the second of his 4-match suspension for his red card against Glasgow Warriors in round 2 last month. But injury-wise, struggling up front, Benetton most notably, they are missing 6 props alone through injury in Ferrari, Gaggio, Nemer, Pasquale, Zilotti, and Chaparro as well, who was initially back after tearing his Achilles last season, but is out with a knee concern at the moment. Plenty more injuries among them. Thomas Albornoz and winger Inishi Ratave, who scored twice against Scarlets.
Same scrum.
Sign, I think, that
come across.
The front row battle there. Sharks got a shove on, and they will certainly be happy to go white. Referee blew the whistle there.
If you don't have go forward,
see the intent. They're wanting to lay down a marker, and it's disappointing to see a few empty seats there. You know, it's not so long ago. You know, Benetton are at the bottom of the table, but they have their home form last year in particular was something to behold. You know, it's not something that you would talk about for an Italian team, but they're doing their utmost to get a positive result here. We just see the pitch cutting up as well.
Then I think largely down to the rain that we've had much of the week, but thankfully weather conditions are dry for today. Temperature as well, peaking at 19 degrees Celsius to the feed. It's popping up, and it's the Italian side who get the call in their favour. Penalty to Sandgrove White.
That's a big one. Not really sure. I thought Sharks initially, they obviously had the initial shove, but Spagnolo deemed to be getting one on his opposition tight head there. It's all about giving pictures, positive pictures, particularly when you've got the assistant referee so close to you.
Came across.
That one going in the way of Benetton.
You can't come across.
The assistant referee with the rainbow-coloured flag. This is the United round, the 3rd consecutive season. This is everyone's game. The URC committed to leading the way to engage all of those who engage with match days to feel welcome and safe. It's a good little carry here from Siua Maile, the man who represents Tonga internationally. To Odogwu, who's coming into the line. This is a lovely run from Rhyno Smith. Looks to break through, clears the path for Benetton, who are on the charge inside the Sharks 22. Again, Odogwu stayed alongside Umaga, picks up the ball. It's quickly out again, trying to go the way of Spagnolo. Looks to drive, but is held up by the Sharks defensive line. It's an interesting pass, a little improvisation there from Garbisi. Again, it's Maile who takes the ball forward. This goes for a penalty to Benetton. Here's Siua Maile, 27-year-old.
At the breakdown, setting up in front of the back foot.
And that's much better from Benetton, even from the game against Leinster last week, when effectively it was over at half-time there.
Setting up in front of the back foot.
You know, the attack has struggled a little bit. Just passes not sticking, and on that occasion it was a lot more effective. Great line from Rhyno Smith, who really is such an important part. If we go through the last few seasons he's been there, all the games he's started, he really is such an important figure, and that's what he can give you. He puts a cracking line. Benetton on the front foot.
Just harking back to some of his Sevens days, the way he was running the ball there was Rhyno Smith. Set up the opportunity for Jacob Umaga to convert the first points of the game. From right in front, and the England international. It's a successful penalty to open the scoring 10-odd minutes into this tie. It is Benetton Rugby, the Lione, who lead by 3 points to 0 in the early stages of this United Rugby Championship round 4 fixture.
Yet again, all coming from that scrum penalty. We'll see what sort of response now the Sharks can bring.
We play.
Masuku, the restart, goes deep as well, giving his runners enough chance to try to chase up on that ball. Easily taken, but Henriksen will get underneath this. Masuku is back alongside him. Here's Jaden Henriksen. Grobler. Flick out Jordan Henriksen now toward the halfway line.
Tackle now.
His brother Jaden Nyakane, two-time Rugby World Cup winner. That's the kind of quality the Sharks can call up, even when they are without several of their Springboks at the moment, who are away on Rugby Championship duty that South Africa won. Rhyno Smith again under the high ball, very comfortable, taken by Grobler though. He's gained a good few metres already in this fixture as Rhyno Smith as he returns to the starting lineup after a little knock in round one.
Treviso, use it.
Umaga looks to lay it out again, asking much of his winger Mendy. Picked up by Andre Esterhuizen, ball carrier. Sharks looking to move this ball beyond the defensive line. Pass again in towards Jason Jenkins, who drives through the tackle. Doesn't make too many metres though. To the boot, and this is going to be out of play.
Yeah, and I'm glad there's something being done differently there. Umaga saw a little bit of space. It's sort of one of those that the ball goes to hand to Mendy there. It's a different scenario. Hooker does well. Got a little bit of a glimpse of Brex coming up against Esterhuizen. Esterhuizen winning that physical battle one-on-one.
I don't need you.
To try and do the Sharks. Get the big ball carriers in. Jason Jenkins, ball into his hands, run over, run through the opposition.
Maile goes to the front. Simple. Cannone, Lorenzo Cannone takes the ball into the tackle. Garbisi lofts it again. Doesn't gain much distance, but it is a tester for
knock on.
Yeah,
no offside though. They're just a knock on.
Knock on from the Sharks.
Yeah, and from the initial couple of minutes of the game where the Sharks were, moving the ball a little bit more in their own half, the last 10 minutes they haven't exactly set the world on fire, has it? It's very conservative for both teams. It's not what you want to see so early in the game.
Hopefully they give us energy.
Certainly not. The frontal feinter is going to make his way on early as Ethan Hooker.
You stay square.
He's going to make his way off.
You keep the shoulder out.
6 clean breaks, 9
Let's
successful carries,
ball,
and
same as they've given you on the setup. Please.
Gaining
Balance.
98 metres in round 3 against the Dragons. He was very successful in that time. He scored a try as well. So early change. Feinted on.
Even though the Sharks got that
Crouch.
last play victory against the Dragons in Plum Tree, not very happy with that. So we're really looking to develop and push on.
Stay up.
The Sharks certainly have been leaving it late recently.
A
little knock on from Garbisi. Now Sharks looking to take full advantage. It's not going to happen. Andre Esterhuizen berates himself for missing out on the chance to pick that up after it was knocked on by Garbisi.
It's just those little things that has sort of been the common theme of Benetton's attack this year. It's just those bit of timing issues, or whether it's the accuracy of the pass. Again, if you're wearing a green and white jersey, this is not the position you want to be defending. Middle of the field, 38 metres out.
Just on the point of Sharks leaving it late though, the Currie Cup final, obviously a very late penalty in the wet by Jordan Henriksen. Saw him claim the Currie Cup title over the Lions against his former side Lions. The Dragons game, that was 5 minutes after the hooter had sounded. They scored the try that claimed the victory. I suppose there are positives you could take from that, but I suppose in the sense as well it's concerning that they're in those positions in the first place. As Henriksen finds his brother, Jaden to Jordan, his younger brother, Esterhuizen. To march through the tackle, lovely little offload in towards Edouard Keita, who's held up by Izekor. Prides himself on making his tackles, but he's still marching forward here with the support of his teammates. Henriksen, Sharks only a couple of metres out now. Jaden Henriksen has the ball, looks to spread it. Trying to use the big men initially. Goes past Grobler on this occasion. Sharks 5 metres out. No tries as yet in this fixture.
Not him. The player's hands down.
And the little pick and drive.
Yes.
Sharks have an advantage that is being played. Being repelled here by Benetton. Doing well to keep the Sharks at bay from this position. This is something the Sharks are very, very capable from scoring from. The position they enjoy being in. So back inside to Masuku. It's in the tackle. Jaden Henriksen on the outside. Feinter only just on. Grobler. He spent much of his last decade playing abroad. Returned to the Sharks. Starting his career at Western Province in the Stormers. Actually made his Super Rugby debut against the Sharks for the Stormers. Henriksen spreading it wide now. Quicker hands. Masuku lovely to Jordan Henriksen around the outside. Is there an offload to come? Still advantage being played to the Sharks, and the penalty goes the way of the visiting side after several phases.
Exceptionally well defended from Ignacio Mendy there, but it would have been fitting if Henriksen finished that off. He was the one who started it with some dazzling feet off that midfield scrum, and felt it was inevitable the way the Sharks were going there, but last ditch tackle from Mendy.
Not now. Not now, but on the way to kick.
I think, you know, when this goes over, you would imagine it would. 3-3 is very much a fair reflection of where we're at. You know, 17 minutes in. Outside playing a cautious, tactical, hopefully territorial game in their game plan, you can imagine.
So Masuku, 28-year-old KwaZulu-Natal born player who made his senior debut at the Lions, finds himself converting successfully for a penalty. Levels it up at 3 apiece. South African supporters in the stands. Action so far. No try as yet.
No, he's jumping into him.
Just raise him quickly behind his back to Masuku, finds Jordan Henriksen. Used again, wide. Pitch early for Ethan Hooker.
Tackle now. Let him come out, let him come out.
Sharks gain an extra few yards. Jason Jenkins now comes to throw it at the back. Giving a little time to Jaden Henriksen, who can put this ball up over the top. Here's Umaga underneath it, takes very comfortably, but held in the tackle by Julius.
Yeah, tackle now.
Benetton in possession, moving the ball up toward the halfway line. Garbisi back to Umaga, who's going to put this to boot. Goes high. Just to here for Henriksen, who comes out with aplomb, taking it beautifully in the air.
Don't twist him out.
Good under the high ball. He looks to shift this a few metres forward for the Durban-based outfit. Masuku himself now goes high. Umaga waiting under it.
It's funny, isn't it? Both sides were only doing box kicks off nines, and now they're resorting to, you know, high up and unders from the out halves. Tit for tat at the moment.
Back with the number 9, Alessandro Garbisi, 22-year-old from Venice, around half an hour south
I've got to call a quick time off, captains.
Treviso.
Michele and Vincent.
20 minutes gone. Benetton 3, Sharks 3.
Michele and Vincent, just come in. I've just seen both teams with the kick chases. We're almost trying to get in the space, but then we've also got both teams trying to jump into players that are nowhere near the ball. So both teams not to jump into players that aren't competing, but also we need to watch out for those escort lines, okay? So for both teams, just clean that up, please, when we get on it. Just tell them we got on, yeah.
Just a little warning from the referee Sam Grove-White for the respective captains.
Right, let's go.
On the players on the bench for Benetton, Destiny Aminu and Marcos Gallorini.
Thank you.
Both 20-year-old props. Gallorini, though, having turned 20 yesterday. Incidentally, Aminu turns 21 this coming weekend. Maile finds Izekor. Back with Maile.
3 side entry. 3 putting the 9
Ruan Dreyer penalised for side entry.
You can have any complaints about that one.
A little change up in the line out there using Izekor. Something they've done progressively.
Yeah, well, he's when you see him up close, he is certainly a physical specimen, Izekor, and there's a lot of hope for him to push Seb Negri in that number 6 role in the Italian jersey. And when you're that athletic, he's a handy tool to have in the line.
Treviso, no blocking, no blocking. Well formed. 8.
Benetton in a really grand position here.
Yeah, green down once. Out.
Making a few metres inside the Sharks' 22. Searching for a way through the Sharks' defensive line. Brought to a grinding halt is Maile. Still kept alive. Garbisi takes it quickly. Spagnolo. Garbisi again, live wire. He's passing off the deck, is brilliant. Here's the incredible Brex towards Mendy. He ran into the referee before he found 2 Sharks players, including the captain Chituka. Advantage being played. Big tackle by Fenter, James Fenter that is, not Francois.
Spagnolo certainly felt that.
2 offside. I don't have a view, I was blocked. If there's foul play, the TMO will tell me I didn't have a view because I was blocked.
Yeah, you can hear that Benetton players are querying it. Went over the horizontal, but...
Yeah, okay. So it would have been a penalty, so it was a left land on back, so it would have been penalty only. So you got the penalty there or the penalty in the same place over there.
So, just this hit from Fenter. Looks like he's gone fractionally beyond the horizontal. A massive hit. But the referee Sam Grove-White saying that if there is anything in it, the TMO will inform him.
I think what was the saving grace there was maybe the landing of Spagnolo wasn't exactly seemed that dangerous at all. Play on.
Out 3.
Maile off to Garbisi. Brex finds Umaga. It's a lovely skip pass. Bounces though Odogwu for the corner. Odogwu is going to go over for the first try of this game. Umaga looking to lob that out towards either Rhyno Smith or Paolo Odogwu. And indeed, it's the English-born Italian international who finds the score in the corner for Benetton.
And what I love about this try is, the vision from Umaga here, but just Odogwu just pins the ears back and has the ball in the correct arm. Sometimes you see, wingers trying to cut back in. Odogwu just saw space and just went for it. The Sharks, I'm sure, will be questioning how Benetton, from such a wide maul, were able to ship the ball and get it out to that space, but Benetton won't care.
Tell 3 to come towards me.
So Odogwu with his first try of the season in URC. Picked up a yellow card against Glasgow Warriors. No, on the score sheet for all the right reasons. This to lead by 7, and it's successfully struck by Jacob Umaga.
One side entry at ball, and that one was very close. Just be very careful. I think you're coming past the first layer, okay?
I take a huge amount of confidence in that. Benetton, again, you just see, pins the ears back and just goes What you love to see. A classic winger's finish.
Little space out wide and fully exploiting that. Jacob Umaga with some great vision off the ball. And then a pass that on the bounce found Odogwu. It's a great recovery for the Sharks. Off a foot, no concern about a knock on here. Masuku quickly to find Esterhuizen, who's pegged back to Masuku though. Good little offload. Venter has it now, but he's driven back as well. Among those in the challenge is Lamaro, the Benetton captain. Jordan Henriksen, the tester. High ball that's been allowed to bounce, and Jaden Henriksen finds himself with the ball in hand, but he's brilliantly snatched away. We've potentially got a 50-22. This is not going to go out of play, however. Picked up by Julius. Very elusive runner with ball in hand. It's great work by Sia Masuku. Jordan Henriksen standing in that fly half channel. And goes up high. It's well held on to in the end by Rhyno Smith. Didn't take cleanly. Garbisi quickly off the deck. Finally Michele Lamaro again. Umaga on the halfway line. Brex, Menoncello. Mendy out wide. He doesn't find a way past the Sharks' defence.
Out one.
It's a clever little option from Garbisi, but you're just starting to see little parts of why Ignacio Brex is so important. One, getting a big hit on Esterhuizen, driving him backwards, and even something small there beforehand. He worked so hard from one side of the field and attack to the other, which created that extra man for Menoncello Mendy, just to get those extra few meters, which ties in another Sharks defender in behind, which gives Garbisi that space in behind for the kick. And it's all those little things off the ball which coaches love seeing. They just seem to be growing into the game a bit more, Benetton.
Vincent Chituka takes it at the line-outs. Both sides now having used their flankers as jumpers at line-outs. Here's a call for Benetton. Vincent Chituka for the Sharks. Not opting to pop that back to Masuku. Takes responsibility himself. There's Jaden Henriksen.
Now in the kicking game from both teams, probably Benetton are shading a little bit in the contestable stakes.
3, remember, no side entry.
Henriksen there, his brother, fullback, a couple of kicks that maybe could have gone a little bit further than what he wanted.
Putel, Tilesi wanted it. Mbatha with that little pass out. This is good running from the Sharks. Jordan Henriksen joins the line but couldn't offload to Edwin Keiter. Picked up by Odogwu here, and an advantage being played. Odogwu then picked up by Umaga. Those two together have invested and founded a clothing line. Rhyno Smith, advantage over. Quickly out by Umaga again. Oh, there's a little bit of pace from both Ruzza and then Izekor, who's difficult to bring down. Great hands from Umaga, back to Rhyno Smith, who's going to go in for the second Benetton score. Forza Leone, they are charging at the Sharks here, Benetton. And they're into a 2-score lead.
The attackers seem to kick into gear a lot more, but missed tackles out wide from the Sharks here. On any level, if you miss those out in the wider channels, you're going to be in difficulty. Good inside support from Rhyno Smith. Again, I think what the Sharks will be very disappointed and worried about is how easy Benetton are finding meters in those wider channels. We can go back to that try from Odogwu, which was obviously off a set play. This more general play. Sharks won't be happy with the defensive efforts that they're putting in, and the softness in which they've conceded those 2 scores.
You just tell me when, Brittany.
So just having a little check to confirm all is well. But Certainly some lovely handling from Jacob Umaga. A little bit of a juggle before that wonderful offload to Rhyno Smith, who was running a sensational line. Izekor charged through a couple of challenges. And Rhyno Smith over for his second try in 2 appearances in this season's United Rugby Championship.
I don't know if we're checking a forward pass or...
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that Ruzza pass to Izekor might have been forward, and that's something that they might be checking. Sam Grove-White with a thumbs up. So it seems all is well from a Benetton perspective. Umaga for the extra 2. Another successful strike from the fly half. And suddenly, Benetton find themselves comfortably ahead against the side that has shown tremendous resilience to come back from serious deficits already in this United Rugby Championship. They're down by 14, are the Sharks, but they trailed by 17 against the Dragons and won by 3. They did, however, against Connacht, allow a 20-point lead to slip. Henriksen. Masuku joining the line, hit by a couple, including Umaga. Henriksen, Esterhuizen, Julius. He can sidestep more than one. Pepsi Buthelezi just loses that forward.
Ball's live though. I'll watch for you. Michele, scrummer line. Scrummer line.
Certainly, if you're a Shark supporter, it's a roller coaster of a ride the first 3 rounds.
No.
So hard to predict, but you certainly wouldn't want to find yourself another score on top of this. The Sharks, so we need to tight a little bit here.
The last 3 scrums have been good scrums.
So this last match on the road for the Sharks. They were away in both the semi-final and the final of the Currie Cup. It was played in South Africa, and then a 3-match URC European Tour. They lost to Connacht in round 2. They beat the Dragons in Newport in round 3 for their first victory of the campaign. They trail by 14 here against the Benetton side, seeking their first victory of this United Rugby Championship campaign.
Down far side. Alex Enfield. Yeah.
As much as I spoke about
come across, we'll fight
Benetton
grass.
missing a host of players, the Sharks too are missing
Come here.
not only a host of their Springbok players
Hit up.
who will return to the matchday squads when they head home after this, but they are missing a series of players owing to injury as well. Like Bram Reineke, Diego Apollos, Emil van Heerden, Ich Prinsloo, Kwesi Mona, Marnus Potgieter, Sia Ngeza, Thomas Dyer, Jo Pendler. So both these sides are somewhat limited by injuries.
Set. Collapse.
Call against Spagnolo.
Yeah, it was given from the assistant referee there on our far side, closest to the scrum, but it's a serious list that you just mentioned there. You imagine what that Sharks team would be like when you do get the Springboks back in. You're talking about a different animal, different beast altogether.
Indeed, a different animal. They could have an ox back in the starting lineup. Better known as Ox and Chair among the Springboks, who's unavailable. Makazole Mapimpi, Apelele Fasi, Lucanio Am, Bongi Mbanambi, the most capped Springbok ever now, Eben Etzebeth. Springbok skipper, Sia Kulisi. These are all among the players unavailable for the Sharks currently. As Esterhuizen looks to break through, 2023 Rugby World Cup winner, Andre Esterhuizen. So too, Rugby World Cup winner here in Jaden Henriksen, who looks to break through. Having helped the Springboks secure the 2024 Rugby Championship. Buthelezi being driven back. Sharks again closing in on the Benetton try line. And it's been stoic, resilient defence from this Benetton side playing at home. Mbatha scored that late try against Dragons to secure the victory in round 3. Vincent Chituka. Nyakane on his outside, opted to go for the little drive. Now on the pass, Esterhuizen, Masuku, long pass out. And that's very big hit from Rhyno Smith, who read it well as Edwin Keiter held on to the pass. 5 minutes to go to half time. Good pressure from the Sharks. And great resilience from Benetton.
Brilliant hit.
The issue is you were slow
Smith
to
here.
you went through the channel. There's 2 issues.
Hendrickson
Don't milk it.
using all of his experience there, very clever, almost getting through. You feel this is a big moment, you know.
On the line.
The context of this game.
On the line.
Different team talk anyway for Plumtree. The Sharks were able to score here.
Yeah, this is a big season for John Plumtree in the sense that last season he was coach, but he wasn't able to assemble the squad he wanted last season, having inherited a squad. This season he has assembled the squad.
So that's a mess from both teams, okay? Sharks have caused the mess by leaving the line out early. You then went up early. Receivers can't go early, stay down. Same ball.
Fair call, good warning from the Scottish referee.
Let's go, come on.
Himself a fine player in his university days, but a severe ankle injury ended his playing career. He turned to officiating and has successfully climbed the officiating ladder. And that has gone a little too long, straight over the top of Pepsi Buthelezi, and now Odogwu in possession. Looking to charge past Francois Fender, who holds on for dear life. Lorenzo Cannone, and a brutal run into the Sharks' defensive line, hit by 2. They only just managed to stop him. Garbisi lifts this. Brother of the Italy fly-off Paolo. Sharks have it back here. Jaden Henriksen, quick hands towards Grobler, who finds Julius, who's hit well by Ignacio Brex. And then Spagnolo comes away with possession. Here's Brex again, puts it to boot.
50-22. 50-20.
And a 50-22. Taken quickly, the throw in here. Mendy's going to go over. It's going to be another Benetton score. To add insult to injury for the Sharks, it's a bit of Benetton brilliance. A 50-22 taken full advantage of by the attacking side. And Ignacio Mendy with the score.
What a swing in momentum and quick thinking from Benetton.
Nice, Alex.
Take your hat off to Nacho Brex. One for the... We're talking about him a lot, but the tackle, which enabled Spagnolo to get a brilliant steal. The quick thinking for the 50-22 from Brex. And then even quicker thinking from Ignacio Mendy. Quick line out. And what a 14-point swing, really.
You're right. I mean, twice now the Sharks have been inside 5 meters of the Benetton try line. And on both occasions, they've been not only pegged back, but they've found themselves conceding tries on the opposite end. This has been a supreme performance from Benetton so far. 3rd try of the afternoon. And they're 1 away from a bonus point try. Still inside the first half.
Yeah, after 20 minutes, you wouldn't have thought that at all. A real opportunistic try there from Benetton.
Umaga, flags go up. Another successful kick. Maintains that 100% kicking record today. And Benetton are 3 scores clear of the visiting Sharks. 24 points to 3. Into the final minutes of the opening half.
Use it.
Garbisi, he and Mendy were the 2 involved in that very quick line out. Mendy took it to Garbisi, then popped the ball back to Mendy, who went over for that third Benetton try. Again, making use of Cannone. Charge forward, Alessandro Izekor protecting it. Maile now looks to take it forward for Benetton. Garbisi being told to use it. Izekor.
Yeah, tackle now or release.
A lot of ball carries from Izekor, who's more renowned for his tackling ability. Won the Tackle Machine Award last season. 188 tackles in last season's campaign at a 98% success rate across the URC rounds. And Smith will just put this ball into touch, and that will be the end of an opening half that has yielded 3 tries for the home side, who seek their first URC victory of this campaign against a side they have beaten already this year, albeit as part of last season's campaign, the Hollywood Bet Sharks. Benetton Rugby 3 times across the try line, both wingers in Odogwu and Mendy, as well as fullback Rhyno Smith going over the try line. They lead the Sharks by a fairly convincing 24 points to 3 at half-time. Marco Bortolami and John Plumtree's change room discussions at half-time, you suspect, will be significantly different. Half-time at the Stadio Monigo, Benetton 24, Sharks 3. Led by 20, they lost that match. They trailed by 17 last weekend. They won that match. They trail by 21 in this fixture. What do the visiting side have in store against Benetton as the second half gets underway, courtesy of Siua Maile, puts one up, but taken by Benetton, who've been exceptional in the first half. Benetton play with the white tops with a green hoop. The Sharks a little black on top of their white jerseys, as Jordan Henriksen again gets under a high ball and takes cleanly. The Sharks trailing by 21. They've made some changes. Hanro Jacobs is on off the bench. There's Esterhuizen, who just barges his way past Umaga, can't hold on for the tackle, but he's largely been nullified in this game, courtesy of the excellent Ignacio Brex. Masuku out towards Henriksen. Feinter hit well by Brex again, who makes another successful tackle. Sharks maintain possession. But Ian McKinley, former Italy international, alongside Ian. Sharks have been capricious of late, you shall say. Letting a 20-point lead slip against Connacht, coming back from 17 down against the Dragons. 21 points down at half-time. You wouldn't bet against them necessarily, but to be fair, Benetton have been excellent.
Given how the season has gone, you wouldn't put anything past the Sharks at the moment.
That'll do, Sharks.
Yeah, it was just that 14-minute period, wasn't it?
Use it.
Conceding 3 tries, and the game in large parts has been like this. Aerial battle, kicking battle, and they find some sort of spark somewhere.
The Henriksen brothers combine. A little knock-on from the Sharks, though, picked up by Spagnolo. There's Rhyno Smith joining the line. A little chase on, a little chase back as well. Esterhuizen looks to go past one, successfully does so. Now, good break on, being chased down by Mendy, gets the offload to Francois Feinter, who's held on the halfway line by Niccolò Cannone. And penalty to the Sharks. Tackler not releasing.
Tacklers must all get out.
Yeah, against Mirco Spagnolo, but just thinking in my head that Andreas de Hazen probably doesn't want to find himself in a sort of a full-back position covering kicks like that. But when you can break tackles like that, why not?
Somebody who's got a propensity for breaking through tackles. 2 tries on his Sharks United Rugby Championship debut against Connacht in round 2, having joined the Sharks this year from Harlequins, where he won the Premiership title. Was it 2020-2021 season, his debut season there?
Certainly a fan favourite over in Harlequins.
Yeah, where they colloquially referred to him as Andre the Giant. And he is a very large unit for somebody who plays in the back line. Is Andre Esterhuizen. Henriksen skips past Esterhuizen. This time Sharks look to take it forward with Feinter. Here's Jacobs, a 34-year-old who has been part of the Sharks setup since 2020. Richardson is also on for Fez Mbatha at half-time.
This has been the part of the game I think that Benetton have been actually exceptional, is the contact, the physical work, the tackling. They've been dominant. They're getting double shots on. They're coming up off the line. We see here.
Grobler hits hard. Uno pulls that ball back towards Richardson, who breaks free of the tackle. Looks to scramble an extra few yards forward. Jaden Henriksen skips past Grobler. Feinter. Chituka, the captain, being driven back here, hit by two. Lorenzo Cannone and Alessandro Izekor. Lovely little break on here. Masuku breaks through. Dylan Richardson now into the 22 of Benetton. Sharks looking lively. They've got players out wide. Chituka couldn't offload. Ball goes backwards, picked up by Esterhuizen. Finds Richardson again, who's plays so well on the fringes. Does the man who's starting at hooker now, but is a long-time flanker, so is well accustomed to playing around the fringes. Buthelezi looks to go beyond his tackler. Little tug of the jersey that brought him up short. Feinter pulled down. Still going. Richardson again. Cycling the ball nicely here are the Sharks, but Benetton continue to defend as they did in the opening half, not conceding a try. And that is going to be Benetton's scrum.
Tough, hard work. Credit to the Sharks plugging away. It wasn't absolutely not a knock on, which in fairness to Grove White is probably the first mistake of the day he's had, but some ferocious hits going in there. But mentioned Dylan Richardson a few times in that. He's looked impressive there, even in the few carries, and that's sort of what the Sharks need. They need a bit of
no water on the field.
Of dynamic carries within that, as Benetton are just winning that battle. And
right, who's injured?
I'm sure the halftime talk would have been, you know, got to just play minute by minute and can't look to go chasing things too early. But just seeing some of the impact hits, some great action shots for the people at home and us.
In this Unity round, round 4 of the United Rugby Championship, promoting inclusion in sport. And it's Benetton Rugby seeking a first win of this 2024-2025 United Rugby Championship campaign, up against the Sharks side, who were victorious against the Dragons last weekend in round 3, and finishing a very tough time away from home. They were away for the last 2 weeks of the Currie Cup, where they played the Blue Bulls in Pretoria on the Highveld, stayed on the Highveld to play the Lions in the final of the Currie Cup. They successfully closed out that Currie Cup campaign, and then 27 of those campaigners flew straight to Europe to play Connacht in round 2. Lost that fixture, then won against Dragons, and then found themselves in a spot of bother at half-time against Benetton. Down by 21, 5 minutes gone in the second half. New front row on for John Plumtree's side. Richardson at hooker between Jacobs and Mkunu.
The slots, please. Heads into slots.
Yeah, we were just chatting a bit during the halftime break about how, you know, how would that affect this Sharks team, given the fact they had those Currie Cup games beforehand and then this tour of Europe. You know, how does that fare in their legs?
Set.
Penalty to Benetton.
17 collapse.
Well, the call
17 collapse.
is against Mkunu.
Yeah, we just saw Avaca there and shot. Benetton's tight head, you know, a lot of credit to him. He hasn't played a huge amount of top-flight rugby. Tries his trade mainly with Mugliano in the Serie A elite in Italy, and certainly stepped up to the mark. Serious concerns or question marks for this game, but he certainly acquitted himself very well.
Yeah, I mean, missing 6 props is going to be brutal for any team. That's what Benetton Rugby are dealing with, and what they have managed to do is impress in the scrums against the Sharks regardless of that. I mean, you add to that the fact that they lost both first choice international hookers for Italy in Nicotera and Lucchesi from last season.
In front, stop.
You might have thought there was some concern up front for Benetton Rugby early on in the season, but showing no signs of it here. Henriksen takes nicely from the Umaga up and under. It's Cater who's brought to ground. Jaden Henriksen again tries to make a few yards. The forwards. Test for Rhyno Smith. Esterhazen picks up as the ball bounced just in front of the 31-year-old from Paul, now playing in Italy. It's been here since 2021. Masuku. It's taken back. Umaga keeps it in play. There's a kind bounce for the fly half. Finds Rhyno Smith. Throw in taken quickly by Jordan Henriksen. Says the referee. He's hit by Umaga hard enough to see that ball spilled forward. Odogwu recovers the loose ball, advantage being played to the home side.
Release now, Sharks. Out we go, Sharks. 18.
Eventually ball comes out, Umaga. Just trying the deft little chip, finds Masuku, who's uprooted. Now, Nkunu, he can run, he can certainly make a little bit of space for himself. Henriksen out towards Grobler, he's got support. Comes in the form of James Venter, who's brought to ground inside the Benetton 22. Henriksen, Masuku, Jordan Henriksen now, had Venter on his outside, so to Chituka, ball spilled. Ball was out, tackling the man without the ball.
Yeah, 100%. And
tackling the 9, no ball.
Hendricks again been so clever there. Didn't think it was the right option from Benetton. You know, Maggie, you can appreciate wanting to play, wanting to keep the ball alive. And that little chip kick was well covered and just stretched the Benetton defence. And you know, because when there's structured play, Benetton seem very content, they seem very at ease at the moment. The Sharks not really breaking them down, but it's those little broken field kicks that on a couple of occasions have caused them difficulty, so might just need to look at that.
Treviso, wait till they're on the ground.
Masuku just finding touch. Dylan Richardson will have the throw.
Ready to get up.
Scotland international, made his debut against Japan back in November 2021. After representing South African schools and South African under 20. Sharks. Nearly 10 minutes gone in this second half, seeking their first try in Treviso. Plenty of power from the Sharks.
Once.
Richardson breaks. And that ball is plucked from his grasp. Umaga again with a long pass out. Edwin Cater doing enough to disrupt Rhyno Smith, but the forward pass has been called by the Scottish referee.
Yeah. Ball was ripped out, so it's a scrum, Sharks.
Wonderful work from Umaga again.
Yeah, and that's the second time in a couple of minutes he's dislodged the ball, and again his adventure
scrum
to go, but even if
Rhyno
Smith got that, he might have got clobbered in the tackle. But
so you three have come on, and the first scrum you've just hit the ground. You need to be positive and hit up.
I'm sure in hindsight he'll probably think back on that probably wasn't the right decision. Maybe the kick in behind, booted away, would have been the better option.
Well, Benetton's still got the bonus point try to chase in this game, and indeed trying to close out victory against the Sharks. The Sharks will be chasing a come from behind victory yet again in this United Rugby Championship.
Crouch!
Sure, there's just one thing, Dwayne, on the mind, and that's just getting this victory, because 3 games, 3 defeats, especially when you're playing at home.
Well, they look really impressive in the game against Scarlets. Ratabe in particular, he's out injured though, disappointingly injured in that fixture after scoring twice. Here's Cater. Caught by Umaga. Henriksen tries to propel him further forward in towards Jenkins, who's hit hard by Niccolò Cannone. Utilesi 5 metres out now, the Sharks. Taken forward by Manu Chituka, who's just made his way onto the park. And that'll be Benetton penalty. Massive momentum shifts in this game. And this, another one.
Yeah, it's not the first time in this game Spagnolo, he's done that on a few occasions. He's really grown into his role actually, and he's putting a big case forward. There's Danilo Fischetto, who's captain of Zebre, but if he keeps up performances the way he's going, he's really some serious headaches for Quesada. But again, from the Sharks' point of view, it's another prime time position, 5 metres out, squandered, wasted opportunity.
Certainly right about Spagnolo. Impressed as well against England in his debut. His family own a trattoria, and I know his mother has on occasion kept the Benetton players well fed. Again, testing ball. No knock on. Knocked forward by Jakobs, says the referee. Andrew Jakobs looks a little perplexed.
Nothing really going their way at the moment now, Sharks.
I don't think.
Again, another
much better scrum. I want
incorrect call from what we're seeing there.
Last scrum, please.
It's just not getting the rub of the green at all. You just feel the energy, the initial efforts here from the Sharks, and haven't been able to tag on anything on the scoreboard. Benetton are able to get a good shove here, or a good scrum, or execute a good move at the backs. Just another little momentum swinger.
Crouch. Bind.
Another scrum,
Set.
another pivotal moment perhaps in this fixture. Benetton feed. Was that a forward pass? Indeed it was. Yeah, a little pop pass that was seemingly forward. Referee agrees.
Pretty clear and obvious. Again, it's that combination again of Brex and Menoncello. Just to add again, actually how impressive the Benetton scrum has been. Yeah, there's been a couple of penalties either way for both teams, but ultimately they've held their own. And you're just thinking from Bortolami, Benetton's
do not change.
Point of view, how long he's going to keep them on for, you'd imagine for as long as possible.
Well, one thing that seems noticeable about Benetton in recent years is the mentality seems different. This is a team that believe they can win whenever they're on the pitch. And even though they have started in suboptimal fashion so far this campaign, the aim is still to make the playoffs, which they successfully did last season.
Yeah, there's no reason they shouldn't. I mean, when you consider the players that they have, you know, from Italian internationals, from some of the foreign players, Fekatoa, Rhyno Smith, Jacob Umaga, I mean, they're exceptional players. Ratave, you mentioned beforehand.
Come across, find some grass.
Signing Crevi as well, you know, it's a good squad, and there's no reason why Benetton every year shouldn't be heading towards the playoffs. When I first started out there in 2016, Benetton were propping the bottom of the table, and thankfully fortunes have changed as the years have gone on, and the challenge is just having that consistency.
Plenty of entertainment for the home supporters. 3 tries to none. As Benetton Rugby lead Hollywood Bet Sharks by 24 points to 3, 16 minutes into the second half. Masuku. Clear out to Fenter again, who brought down by Umaga. That was a little bit of a tester. Well picked up. Richardson.
Not now.
Ono there to make sure that Sharks maintain possession. Esterhuizen again hitting the tackle successfully. Richardson. gaining a few extra yards. Keiter. Jakobs, Masuku. Quickly to Manu Chituka. He joined his brother at the Sharks this season, having made his senior debut at the Lions.
No arc tackle 3. Dangerous.
Avaca just rolling out of the way.
3. No arm.
I thought even the Shark could have had a penalty.
3. No arm.
Even in the lead up to that with Umaga, it was a bit of an armchair sort of a tackle, but still around the neck, which you do see a lot of refs giving, and Sharks might feel they're just not getting the rub of the green on those. But again, when the Benetton seem very comfortable in defence, and just feel they just need to keep their discipline about them and see this home and get an opportunity maybe to tag on a couple of points. And
that's an excellent point you make. I mean, in terms of their defence, while they have conceded with a great frequency so far this campaign, what we are seeing is we're seeing a couple of changes here. The likes of Marcos Gallorini making his debut, the prop who wears 18, and Eli Snyman, the co-captain, who's back as Ruzza departs. Federico Ruzza, another big afternoon for Ruzza, who actually played alongside his now coach Bortolami at Zebra in years gone by. Bortolami finished his career. But with Avaca making way, Marcos Gallorini is on for his debut. Jenkins is off for Raal, meanwhile, for the Sharks. Taken by Grobler. Jaden Henriksen. Oh, again, a brilliant hit from Brex. Excellent in the tackle. Finter held on to. Sharks looking dangerous from here. Can they finally register a first try in this game? Tunu. Big drive, but driven back, held on to by Lorenzo Cannone.
Release.
Finter loses the ball, and that'll be another Benetton ball, this time a feed at the scrum.
In some ways that probably sums up where Sharks are at the moment. There's a lot of huff and puff, and there's a lot of endeavour. A lot of basic errors as well with it. I mean, that's really poor in the end from the Sharks. Letting Benetton off the hook.
Let's go, lads.
There's Manu Chituka on the left of the screen. Uno there in the foreground. Two sets of brothers playing for the Sharks, the Chitukas and the Henriksens, both on the pitch at the moment. They have had a series of brothers playing for them before as well, including the Duplessis brothers, Yanni and Bismarck, and the Duprier brothers, Daniel and Jean-Luc, played together at the Sharks.
We wondered when the young props on the Benetton bench will come on. Well, Gallorini's in. Benetton's tight head there, number 18, we see.
Turned 20 yesterday. Maybe he'll have a good celebration the day after his 20th birthday. As part of a victorious Benetton side. They're 20 minutes away from claiming their first URC win of this season. Umaga sends it away. But Gallorini at youth international level has been impressive. And in fact scored twice against South Africa at the World Rugby Under-20 Championship last year, in a match that he and Lorenzo Julius actually played on opposite sides. Italy marching out victorious, 34 points to 26 on that occasion.
And even commentating on some of the under-20 Six Nations games, he's probably been the standout player for the under-20s over the last 10 years, given his performances.
Chituka takes in the line out as Uren is on for Garbisi and Bernasconi is on for Maile, the Tongan international. Telesi looking to protect the ball. Masuku, close quarter action here. Again using the forwards of the Sharks. Richardson, second half substitute, but his jersey is well muddied already. Masuku towards Manu Chituka. Bustling forward, loose forward. Now Keiter on the opposite wing. Steps past one, got past Rhyno Smith. Julius wanted it, but Jaden goes to Jordan, his brother. Again forward, this time by Corneral. Right in front of the uprights, just over 5 metres out now for the Sharks. 18 minutes remain in this tie. Henriksen to Henriksen. Out wide to Keita, and then the handling error from Julius. And again the error. It's been an error-strewn performance from the Sharks so far in this fixture.
Yeah, and it's been all Sharks in the second half, but again, when you get into the 22, the red zone, you're just looking for that little bit of composure, a bit of poise, and
this is going to need sorties.
Just haven't had it at all today, and let Benetton off the hook more times than not. So
we're going to have a blood sub for this lad.
Another change, and that's Jaden Henriksen done. A solid afternoon for Jaden Henriksen.
All right.
And that is one way to leave the field. Being replaced by Destiny Aminu.
Very good.
So now Spagnolo and Avaca both off.
Yeah, they went, I think they went
Aminu on with Gallorini on his debut. Aminu turns 21 next weekend. Gallorini also in the front row, having turned 20 just yesterday.
What a first scrum as a pairing for them. You're 6-7 meters out from your own line. Just got to hold it for a clean exit. Easier said than done, says the out half.
So Bradley Davids in at scrum half for the Sharks. And the Uren, formerly of Bristol, recently replacing Alessandro Garbisi.
By you going head on head, he can't get into that slot. So you let him in. Thank you. Shoulder out. Thanks for trusting.
So Uren will feed. A man who spent a decade out at Bristol Bears, where he won the European Challenge Cup in 2020. Sharks are the current holders of the Challenge Cup. Current holders of the Currie Cup as well. One of the oldest domestic competitions in all sports. Taken forward by Brex, having another big afternoon. Uren calling the larger players forward. Gallorini being told to get back.
Suko got his hands
Ask the question next time.
over his head. He certainly felt that impact against Brex. You would say, but Spagnolo, I know, has gone off, but he's been immense today.
You get lucky, he goes offside.
Very silly penalty, particularly part of the field, an easy out for Benetton, but Brex, you would hardly think he's been away.
Ask me the question, I'll give you an answer, okay?
Another change for the Sharks. Lionel Cronier has made his way onto the park to replace Siua Maile. Veteran with wonderful tactical nous, Lionel Cronier. David's nearly tripping up Uren. Taken forward by Seb Negri. Recently married to Greta. Honeymoon in Maldives only 2 months ago. Here he is, hoping to help Benetton to their first victory of this URC campaign. 15 minutes of play remains. Jordan Henriksen brought down inside his own half. Davids. First decisions to come for Davids on the pitch. Now quickly to Manu Chituka, playing on the wing. Cronier opting for the little kick that is not too far away from James Fenter. And he's been at the Sharks since 2020. James Fenter, excellent around the breakdown.
Benetton have been pretty much defending for this whole second half. It's a great hit from Niccolò Cannone here. It sort of summed up the defensive effort, the physicality, given a little bit of it as well afterwards. But Benetton really need to kick on now. They've been defending for far too long in this half. Need to start looking on now to get this bonus point.
Oh, Bernasconi with a right little throw to Negri, who took it but nearly missed Uren with a pass. This is a wonderful little step away from Menoncello. Eventually brought down by Grobler. Here's Gallorini. Joined the Benetton Academy, did Gallorini, last year. He's been impressive since. He's slimmed down a little. Chase is on. Rhyno Smith looking to gather underneath it. Jordan Henriksen eventually plucks it out of the air, and Keita looks to protect. Chituka eventually getting there. Lorenzo Julius nearly had to play scrum half.
Even if Benetton didn't get that ball back, it's still a really clever kick from Uren. Pinning the Sharks back, and now all of a sudden line out outside the 22, and you see as the bodies are coming up off the floor, they're looking tired. But this guy, we haven't spoken a lot about him, haven't seen much ball in hand, but Menoncello, so powerful. Still number 21, it's hard to think of the range he's done already.
I think one of the great disappointments was he was injured for the Rugby World Cup, wasn't able to play, but certainly stuck his hand up when he was playing for Italy in the Six Nations earlier this season, player of the tournament. Umaga again to Rhyno Smith, who's going to go through here, potentially for his second. Sides his way through the Sharks' defence, and Benetton have a bonus point try. Rhyno Smith, 2 games, 3 tries this campaign for Benetton. A man who loves music, and it's just music to the ears of Benetton supporters. Rhyno Smith, wonderful offload from Umaga. Ran a perfect line, got past 2 Sharks defenders and scored under the posts.
And he ran a similar line in the first half. Not off a set play, but he's absolutely lethal in that position. And again, Sharks will have to question defence off a first phase like that. Again, you love to see that. It's almost sort of old school JPR Williams-esque, going back to really old school rugby, but cutting that line, hitting perfect timing. They've probably, because they've beaten Sharks into submission with that score. You know, it's a tired looking defensive set, even if it is off a line out. And credit to Benetton for putting them in that situation with all the defending and positive tackling that they've been doing.
There's certainly been a series of errors from the Sharks, but to be fair to Benetton, they have been excellent in defence. The contestable kicking has been top-notch, and they've run some beautiful lines. Conversion is good by Umaga, and Benetton go beyond the 30-point mark. They lead the Sharks by 31 points to 3 with just over 10 minutes to play.
I suppose the challenge will be now, can they kick on and get a couple more scores and try and eat into this negative points difference that they have accumulated over the first few games?
Yeah, tackle there.
Or will they be satisfied with their work already done?
Taken forward by Negri. Not unfamiliar to many in South Africa. South African raised, Zimbabwean born. Manu Chituka. He and his brother Vincent have recently acquired South African passports, having been born in Democratic Republic of Congo. They were both football players as youngsters. But there's much talk about the prospect of them potentially representing the Springboks in years ahead. Grobler. To Richardson, who's driven back by Gallorini before being hit by Snyman. Another Zimbabwean born player. Jordan Henriksen. Davids. Jacobs. Stopped by Aminu. Rhyno puts it on the boot. Rhyno Smith having a fine afternoon. Asks his winger to chase. Rhyno is underneath it. Subsequently held up by Mendy.
That'll do.
Flicked away. It's well collected by Richardson after a bit of a scramble from Davids. Quick thinking though.
Off feet.
As the ball spilled free.
Leave it now. No, that's it.
And I think this might be the worry
Shark,
for the neutral watching this, that this will just start to peter out a bit. The Sharks really do look out on their feet at the moment.
On the side certainly that has been guilty of making too many errors in critical phases and in critical positions on the park. The Sharks.
The scrum, clearly.
Benetton scrum.
A pile of bodies.
Well, Benetton, they would love to go into their away fixture to the Dragons in round 5 next Saturday with a victory under their belts. And they host the Bulls on the South African side in round 6 here in 2 weeks' time before the international break. As Niccolò Cannone makes way for Riccardo Favretto, who turns 23 on Friday, man from Treviso who grew up supporting this side. Favretto, the Italian international. Menoncello also makes way for Leonardo Marin, a very versatile backline player who can cover virtually any position in the backline.
Shoulder out, let him in, stay up.
Thrill seeker, Marin. I saw he went skydiving recently.
Don't you come on.
Yeah, he's been struggling to find form recently. You know, so it's big, so 6.5 minutes. You know, it's difficult to try get a lot done in that time, but he just needs to focus on the basics. And certainly a player with a huge amount of potential and still young. But this will do a huge amount for the confidence of Benetton. You know, that game against the Dragons is not easy. They're playing certainly a lot better than they have done in recent years.
As much as Benetton, who get the call in their favour again. 6 minutes to play. Benetton leading by a
just round the corner.
Commanding advantage. 31 points to 3.
Just round the corner.
28 points in it. Sharks, though, return to South Africa after this. They play the 3 United Rugby Championship winners in succession. They welcome the defending champions Glasgow Warriors to the Shark Tank in round 5 next Saturday, and then they host Munster, winners in 2022-23, and the weekend after the international window is done, they play against the Stormers, who are the 2021-2022 champions. Rhyno Smith, player of the match. Fair, given his contribution, 2 tries.
Yeah, and you get 2 tries. You could throw Spagnolo in there, Brex as well, as I mentioned earlier on, but
use it.
It's been a great team performance overall, to be fair. Umaga finding Smith, looking for a hat-trick of tries here. He's got the chance to offload to Mendy, who's going to go in perhaps. Eventually held onto by Manu Chituka, who was retreating with a great deal of pace. Negri looking to go for the line. Uren out, Umaga. There's space out wide. They just need to keep it in hand now without knocking on. And indeed, a 5th try accrues over the line. Leonardo Marin and Benetton are up to 36 points. Only once have they beaten the Sharks previously, and that was by a single point, courtesy of a last-minute try by Jacob Umaga. This has been commanding, imperious, and rounded off brilliantly by a 5th try.
We can't really say commentators curse, can we? Because Rhyno Smith produced a beautiful piece of balanced running, and you just felt, unlike Odogwu in the first half, Mendy, if he pinned his ears back, he would have gone in the corner there. But Benetton recycle, simple hands, fix and pass. Marin could have even given another pass and they would have walked that in.
Umaga. He's yet to miss one. In today's fixture, this to give Benetton a 35-point advantage going into the final minutes of this tie. Again, the flags go up. Benetton lead the Sharks by 34, by a remarkable margin. It's lovely through the hands. Out to Marin, only fresh on the park. But a lead of 35. Benetton 38-3 over the Sharks.
Use it.
2.5 minutes to play. Henriksen again, excellent under the high ball all afternoon. Manuchtuka. Needs 2 tacklers, eventually goes down. Julius into his own teammate. No obstruction. Davids, Richardson, Cronier. Scooped it away nicely. A little pop pass out from Esterhuizen, finding James Venter out wide. Cater takes it into the tackle. It's been knocked back, said the referee. Nearly kicked forward by Favretto.
Yeah, time off. Time off. Split the teams.
A little scrap. And a little scrappy on the pitch.
Yeah, but this is not good. Favretto's in trouble. Straight away. It's not going to be good for him.
Away you go, Colin, we're coming to you. Away we go.
That's not an ending that you want, because it's been played in a good spirit, good physical spirit from both sides.
Hold on, TMO.
Francois Venter just receiving a little medical attention here. Somebody who shot to prominence.
Colin, we've got a stand-up tackle there. I'm at foul play.
The colours of the Blue Bulls. Went on to play for the Springboks in 2016 and 2017, most notably. So the TMO will be checking this.
Right. Just keep playing it through. Just keep rolling the angles. So yeah, so Michele, just walk away. Give him something. So what we're seeing right now is we do have foul. We do upright. We do have foul play. We do have head contact. I think we're at high level danger because the force is high. However, I think we have mitigation there because the height of the player is changing suddenly. Does anyone else have anything different than that? So we're at high danger. We're mitigated down. So we're at yellow cards. Colin. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Not sure I agree with that, to be honest, but I think Favretto has enough time to change what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. 9. You go.
So Benetton will finish with only 14 players as Favretto is off. He will kick to the corner as Sharks attempt to find their first score from a try in this fixture.
Yeah, that's fine.
He consider himself lucky, but even still, finishing out the last 90 seconds here, 14. Regardless, he's copped one on the chin for his efforts.
Not much time remaining in this fixture. A minute effectively to play.
Holding.
Sharks of the penalty again.
Again, from a Sharks perspective, you know, an overthrow in the line out. How many times have we spoken about the sort of inaccuracies within the 22? Yeah, that has contributed to the scoreline, that they've let Benetton off the hook on many occasions. And, I mean, this Sharks team will be different when they get back to South Africa, but it's definitely an area you're going to have to to
no
look
legs,
at.
nothing in the air. Discipline. Focus here, Alex.
Sharks through Fenter, charging run at that Benetton try line. Can they sneak over here? An advantage being played. Final seconds of this fixture in Treviso. Can the Sharks end it on a high? Just short, says referee Sam Grove-White. Still can't find a way through. Benetton superb in defence, but a 14-man Benetton now. Esterhazen looks to go, but again short. Past the 80 minutes, and Cluno will go in for the score. Sharks have the opportunity to reduce the deficit further, but Cluno with his late try for the Sharks that will end this fixture. Benetton oh so nearly able to deny the Sharks a try. They did so for 80 minutes, and eventually it is Cluno who has the final say. And at the end of a fixture that sees the Sharks up to double figures, but an error-strewn performance from the visiting side, who return home for next weekend's fixture. This is the final moments. Cluno under the posts. Lionel Crunier taking the quick conversion. Benetton have their first win of this campaign in the United Rugby Championship. It's come in the United